I want to add something to this because you asked a really good question and it deserves a deep answer. What's happening right now in this country, the reality is that we are heading for the wall. National has borrowed so much money that your individual debt is now $18,000. Everyone in this room owes $18,000 to some bank, somebody where we lend money, okay? And the national government has really no other way of increasing their revenue because the moment they go out there and say, we would like to increase the tax, their vote is gone. And they know that. So they are heading for the wall, knowing it. And let me give you an example. When they go out there and talk about this rockstar economy and this great budget and tell us $300 million surplus, do you know what these $300 million pay for? 30 days of interest payments on the money that we owe. And it's gone. It's a joke budget, it's a joke economy, and it's taking us down. Now, how are we going to fix it? What's the answer, right? There are a lot of avenues of taxation that New Zealand hasn't taken yet, and they are in the top 1%. Australian banks, every year, wire $1.5 billion profit back to their Australian shareholders. They would still be doing business here if it was half that much. So if we tax them more, we can pay for the tech infrastructure that we need to take this country forward. The submarine cable that this country needs to be connected to the rest of the world will cost around $350 million. That is an investment that will give us a return on investment 10 times that in 10 years down the road. Those are the investments that we have to make, and we can only make them by increasing tax. Let me give you another example. We have no capital gains tax in New Zealand. The founder of Trade Me sold his business for a couple $100 million, zero tax. How is that fair? How does that make any sense at all? The richest are getting richer by benefiting from the zero capital gains tax. If we would add capital gains tax in New Zealand right now, we could pay for free education, a much better healthcare system, and a tech infrastructure all at once. And you guys wouldn't lose a penny because of that. That's the reality in New Zealand, and we are going to change that.
Kia ora whānau. We're going to have to make that the last question for this segment, and I apologise profusely. At least I would do if I knew what profusely meant. Just want to thank you very much for coming with us this evening and invite you to stay and have a cup of tea and a bit of a kai with us. You know us always, got to have a cuppa and a kai. So we'd like to invite you all to stay behind and do that. But just before we close with the karakia, I'd like you to give yourselves a round of applause for helping be a part of history, helping change the future. Thank you very much for your questions. Your questions mean that you're wanting to know things, and that means that you are listening. Kei te mihi tēnei kia koutou. Please give another round of applause for our panel of speakers. Remembering that they're not just speakers, but they're actually going to be the new Parliament, along with myself, Annette Sykes, and a whole lot of other internet candidates by the 21st of September. The world will be changed. Kuni noa tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa papa. I'm going to ask you to close us in karakia, please.
Kia ora mani tātou. Nā reira, ko tēnei te mihi atu kia tātou e haramaki ki whakarongo ngā kōre ka puta mai tō tātou e tora moku maru. Nā reira, kānei te mihi tātou. Nā reira, tika ana ko tāmarangi ku moko te hāpoi o ku muri. Me tukuna ngā kupu ki tō tātou matanu te rangi ki tō kapi tō tātou hui. Ka muri tērā, mā pinei te whakapai tō tātou kai. Nā reiti ino e tātou. Ke tau ke tātou katoa ki te ato kau te ato. Ke piki ngā tahitanga me te waio a tapu. Ake tonu atu. Amen. Whakapai te tātou kai. Me ino a tōki te manaku ki ora nei whainga te mātou tina. Te kā me toka ara ki mātou. Amen. Te tātou.